Step into the spotlight.
Hey guys, Underground Geek here, and welcome to another video on my channel. Today I want to talk about something specific, something good, something that I think that doesn't really get brought up enough in the comic book world, and that is all the great female characters that we have in comic books. Now, this video specifically is going to be about DC women in the comic books, and all of my favorite DC characters. The top ones that I think of. And I want to kind of talk about each one. I know there's a lot of them, so I'm sorry, but I had to pick certain ones, you know. And these can be heroes, these can be villains. It doesn't matter because women can be heroes and villains just like men can be heroes and villains. But they're going to be different kinds of heroes and villains because, you know, men and women are different and they're better at different ways, and men are better at different ways. And so let's get into all the great characters that DC has. Right off the top of the list, I'm going to talk about Zatanna. She's a very cool magician, but also like not just a magician, but she's actual spellcaster from the DC universe. She has a pretty unique uniform. Most of the time, it's a suit jacket with some kind of pantyhose and a leotard. With a top hat and magician's gloves, and it's a very classic magician. Now, if you don't know the story about her, she was the daughter of a famed magician, Giovanni John Zattara. Zatanna was a successful stage illusionist, but she discovered her true magical powers. She has real magical powers. She's dated a lot of people in the Marvel in the DC universe. One of them be John Constantine. And she also became obsessed with the search for books of magic, and she wanted to become more and more, you know, powerful using this magic. And I think it has something to do with the relationship with her parents, or with her dad specifically. But it's kind of cool. This character really gets my attention. I like her in all the comics that she's in. I like her in the movies that she's in, the little DC animated movies. She just seems really cool to me. She's pretty, but she's also strong, and she also comes in she's needed in a pinch a lot of times by Batman to use her magic abilities to get them out of situations, and I like that. So next we're going to talk about Black Canary. Black Canary has been used a lot in comic books and a lot on the Arrow TV show. She's a very, very strong female. She's very good at fighting, hand-to-hand combat. But she also has a cool ability called the Canary Cry, where she can use, sometimes it's mechanical, sometimes it's an actual ability like a metahuman, where she can use her voice almost like Black Bolt, where she can scream and, you know, it sends out a blast and destroys things around her. It can knock people off their feet, you know, whatever she needs it to do at that time. But she's a superhero vigilante, of course, you know, they're all vigilantes, who fights crime using martial arts and a sonic scream attack. Well, that gets it pretty much on the nose. Now, there's been two Canaries. Diana Drake, she's the main one you think of. And Diana Lance, you know, later on, that's the ones that a lot of people are familiar with, Diana Lance. But I've always liked that character. I don't know if you've played the Injustice games, but she's on there and she plays a pretty good role. Very strong character at the same time, very pretty, you know, and she has the see-through pantyhose and the black leotard as her suit most of the time. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk about Starfire. Starfire is pretty cool because she's a 6-foot-tall orange alien that has power abilities and shoot beams out of her hands. I mean, it's pretty cool. But she's an alien superhero with powers of flight and energy projection. Now, if you're reading the Nightwing series, The New Order, her son is the son also of Nightwing. and something happens to her, and the son has inherited the powers as well. So it's kind of cool. He's an alien hybrid right now, but anyway, she was born a princess on the planet Tamaran. She escaped execution at the hands of her older sister Blackfire, and she traveled to Earth. And then later on, she becomes friends, and she's in the Teen Titans and a couple other organizations. She's been in Justice League. She's been Outlaws, Outsiders, Rebels, and she's on my list because she's one of the top female characters. Now her personality is she's not afraid. She doesn't have the same culture as us, so when it comes to clothes, she doesn't really care about clothes as much as we do. So she may just walk around half naked most of the time because it doesn't bother her, and that's where they kind of get into situations a lot of times where they have to explain that to her. But she is also on my list. Next, we're going to talk about one of the more famous ones. I'm not saying Starfire is not famous, but when you think about heroes or you think about women in DC Comics, who do you think of most of the time? Catwoman. So next we're going to talk about Catwoman, and that's Selena Kyle. Now, right now in the Batman comics, she is actually engaged to be married to Batman, Bruce Wayne. So that's kind of interesting. That's been going off many storylines. But she's a criminal. She's a thief. Um, Sometimes she has cat-like abilities. Sometimes she doesn't. She wears a black leather outfit and dressed like a cat. And she's very clever, very acrobatic, and she spent years of training. She's very agile, very stealthy, and that makes her good as a thief. Now, next, I'm going to talk about Talia Al Ghul. This is a girl not to be messed with. She's very conniving and very smart, and she's also very good at hand-to-hand combat. But she is the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, the demon head. And so, in some storylines, she also gets into a relationship with Batman, of course, because, Batman gets all the girls. But she's kind of cool because she doesn't usually come at you direct when she's got some kind of plan to take you out. She'll use all these different techniques, these stealthy techniques to try to take you out from the sidelines, not in a direct combat kind of way. But if she does fight you hand to hand, you need to run because she's very good. Now, next on the list, we're going to talk about Donna Troy. Donna Troy is one of my favorites. I like her outfit. I like the starry outfit. And I especially like her in the new Titans series. They have a Teen Titans, and then they have Titans. It's like the grown-up version of them. And she's also known as Wonder Girl. In some storylines, she's the playmate for the younger Wonder Woman. And then sometimes she's actually made to replace her in some kind of scheme. There's many different ways to bring her up, but I think they went with the replacement story in the new Titans, and then she kind of, becomes a good guy. Like they were going to use her to usurp Wonder Woman in the kingdom, but then, she gets out on her own, starts thinking for herself. But she's one of my favorites. She's very pretty. She has most of the same abilities Wonder Woman has. So she's like a pseudo Wonder Woman to use on the team, and it's very good to have more than one. Next, we're going to talk about Vixen. Vixen's a very cool superhero. She's a Zambezi-born American businesswoman and a model. I mean, she's got everything. She fights crime as Vixen, and she has a very specific ability. Besides being very beautiful, she also has the ability to use an amulet that gives her the power to channel different animals' abilities. So she can think about something and she can get like the powers of a gorilla, the strength of a gorilla, the speed of a cheetah, the swimming ability of a shark. She can fly like an eagle, into the sea, fly like an eagle. Anyway, but so that makes her very cool on the team. I mean, she's almost like Beast Boy, except more vicious. So she can do all these different animal incarnations and use them. Isn't that cool? I mean, that seems like a very original ability to me. But anyway, next on the list is going to be Huntress. Huntress is almost like a Batwoman to me. When I think about it, she's been a villain. Now they're using her kind of like a good guy, but she's almost like Batwoman. She is she is a superhero or villain most of the time in the DC universe. Most of the time they're going to use Helena Wayne the daughter of Batman and Catwoman. They also use Helena Bertinelli, the orphan daughter of the murdered mafia family, who grew up swearing deadly vengeance on the criminal underworld. Um, Batman doesn't really like her that much because she will kill people sometimes, and he's all about not killing. But she's a very cool character. She's been in the Justice Society, Justice League, of course, the Birds of Prey, the Outsiders, and another group called Checkmate. And she's got a very cool outfit. Most of the time, it's purple and black. She uses a crossbow. I mean, what else could you ask for? She drives a motorcycle. I mean, come on, guys, this is pretty awesome. So next on the list, we're going to talk about Raven. Raven's very cool. You might know her from the Teen Titans TV show. Not a lot of people read Teen Titans. I'm not saying that not everybody read Teen Titans, but most of the time you think about Raven, you're thinking about the TV show, and not Teen Titans Go. That is garbage. But she's Rachel Roth, superhero, excuse me, with dark magic abilities. She derives some of her power from her demon father Trigon, and she actually has a crystal on her forehead that entraps Trigon, so she can keep him pretty much an eye on him at all times. She has to keep her emotions in check, because if she doesn't, she can unleash a really strong power inside of herself. Um, she draws her power from the realm of Azarath, um, and she's almost like a token magic user whenever they need her. Excuse me, my throat's sore. But she's very cool, and she's almost like the goth on the team. She's always brooding, always emotional, and it's good to have a character like that kind of have a different spectrum on the team, and don't mess with her. Next on the list is someone who has a little bit of a darker history with the Teen Titans, Tara. She's the illegitimate daughter of King Victor of Markovia. Her half brother is also G-Force. She became a mercenary. She worked with Deathstroke. There's kind of that weird relationship going on with her and Deathstroke. Then later on, she develops a relationship with Beast Boy, and then she ends up dying, betraying them. And then there was a second Tara on the Teen Titans, using her DNA, and she joined the regular Titans. She was killed by Black Adam during World War III. And then there's another one who's also fighting. She was with Power Girl. She's in a New 52 reboot. She's a member of the Ravengers, and so on and so on. So there's been many reincarnations of Tara, and she's a pretty cool character. She can control what is it? Is it gravity that she controls? But she can move. She can move the earth around. She can build different things with rocks. It's a very cool ability. It's like an Earth style Mortal Kombat or combat. Pretty cool. I like that character. I don't know that much about her, but she seems pretty cool. All right, guys. So next, I want to talk about Kara Zor-El, or better known as Supergirl. She's Superman's cousin. She's also from Krypton. And she's one of the most powerful superheroes on Earth. She's been a member of the Justice League, Legion of Superheroes. But she's pretty cool because, unlike her cousin, she was sent to Earth a lot longer. She got trapped in a black hole, and so she got there a little bit older, and she has a little bit different demeanor. She's not as nice about certain things. She has pretty cool abilities. She's also been a Red Lantern at one time. But there's a TV show about her now that I'm not really crazy about. They kind of water her down a little bit. But she's pretty cool on a lot like Superman, just a female version. And so there's not much more to tell about her other than she's Supergirl. But still pretty cool. Like her. She has a cool outfit. Cool ability. She's pretty, super strong. She's on the list. She's iconic. Next, we're going to talk about Power Girl. She's pretty much Earth 2 Supergirl. She's a Kryptonian. She's a cousin to Superman. Just another one of those stories. Her origins are kind of different over each time and continuity, but she's also been a descendant of Orion and with ties to Atlantis. So she's got a couple of different, incarnations. Her costume she wears, she doesn't have an emblem. She uses this as an advantage to distract others in combat with her boob window. She's been a member of the Justice League, the Justice Society, Infinity Incorporated, Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, and the Sovereign Seven. She's been on a lot of different teams, but she got a pretty cool outfit. She's super strong and pretty much Supergirl. They had to name her a little bit different, Power Girl. Not very original name, but very original costume. And so that brings me to the next Supergirl I want to talk about, and that's Wonder Woman, one of the most iconic characters in comics. And yet we don't have enough women in comics, but Wonder Woman's one of the top 3 in DC ever of all time. When you think about superheroes, you think about Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I mean, Wonder Woman could kill Batman in like 2 seconds if she wanted to. She's the daughter of Queen Hippolyta. Say it with me. Hippolyta. First child born on Paradise Island. All of them were women. She was the first child that was born. Most of the time, she's created by clay by her mother and then brought to life by Zeus. That gives her almost like God descendants in her blood. She is like a goddess, pretty much. That's why she has her super strong abilities. And also, let's see if I got any more notes here about her. Let's see. Pretty much, she's not to be messed with. There's a lot of superheroes out there, but Wonder Woman will not play. She was raised by a warrior race called the Amazons on the island of Themyscira, and so she's raised to be a warrior, but at the same time she knows when to back down. But when she's battling, it seems like she's almost like Xena, warrior princess. You don't mess with her. She's a very iconic costume with the leather straps and a miniskirt. She usually has a shield or a sword and her nice little tiara on her hair. But moving on, we're going to talk about another Amazon. Her name is Artemis. She left home to recover the bow of Ra. During her journey, she teamed up with the Red Hood Mazzaro, and then later on joined the Outlaws. If you're not reading that comic book series right now, it's Red Hood and the Outlaws, and it's very good. Artemis was told as a child that she would become an unrivaled warrior, and one day become Queen of the Amazons. She arrogantly tried to claim the most powerful weapon given to Bana by the Egyptian gods, the bow of Ra. However, the weapon rejects her, and Nephilus appears and confirms that she's not ready for it. That's pretty much her life story. So now she's just trying to become worthy. But she's a very cool character. Her outfit's a lot like Wonder Woman, just a little bit of differences, and sometimes she's dressed in all red. She's a very cool character. Now we're going to talk about one of the Bat family, Batgirl. She's one of the more famous Batman sidekicks. And she's similar to Robin, but not really. There's been several women to take the position over the years. The original Batgirl during the Silver Age was Katie Kane. This was later removed from continuity, and the character was reintroduced under the name Flamebird. The most known Batgirl is Barbara Gordon, of course. She's the niece of Commissioner Gordon, and she's been Batgirl for many years. She's Batgirl now. In one storyline, Joker shot her and messed her spine up and caused her to become paralyzed, and she became an Oracle. And then later on, she gets her legs back and she's Batgirl again. The latest series is not too interesting. You're probably going to get bored with it, but Batgirl is still an iconic character and needs to be mentioned. So next we're going to mention another one of the Bat family is going to be Batwoman. She's a vigilante. She's a female counterpart to Batman, and she also, keeps a sidekick as Batgirl sometimes, and she has been known to date Batman every now and then. In the modern era, her legacy is taken up by the army brat Kate Kane. She's a lesbian that's been expelled from West Point. She was one of those diversity characters that they try to create. Kate Kane's Batwoman's a wealthy socialite and has a sidekick, Flamebird. You remember that when we're talking about Batgirl. Sorry, my throat's hurting. She's been involved with the Bat family. Right now she's teamed up with Detective Comics, helping them on there. She's very good at hand-to-hand combat. Her outfit is the iconic red and black. And she's the closest thing to Batman that I can think of. When it comes to superheroes, she has her own personality. She's very strong, very arrogant, very, well, not really arrogant, very foolhardy, about sometimes very, very bullish, I should say. And she's not to be messed with. So next on the list is going to be Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy is a supervillain. She's pretty much a terrorist, and she has the ability to control plants. And she's usually fighting Batman. That's usually the one that she's fighting most of the time. She was originally a botanist, Pamela Isley. She experimented with plants. Chemicals affected her. She became a supervillain. She's a very prominent villain in the Batman world, and very strong, very deadly. She doesn't fight you directly. She uses the plants to get you. She's very conniving. Another one of those characters that you won't see coming most of the time. She's very protective of her plants, so don't mess with the green. Now next, we're going to talk about Harley Quinn. She's one of the more famous characters right now since Suicide Squad has come out. She's very overused in DC right now. She's almost become like DC's Deadpool. She's a supervillain, adversary of Batman, sidekick of Joker most of the time. Most of the time his girlfriend. And sometimes she is solo though. She was born Harleen Quinzel. She's a psychiatrist. They ended up becoming crazy just like the rest of them, thanks to Joker. And then became Harley Quinn. The love for him eventually drove her mad, and that's why she became crazy like she did. She has enhanced psychology due to chemical experimentation, giving her increased strength, agility, and durability. She's also been a member of the Secret Sire supervillains, the Secret Six, Gotham City Sirens, Suicide Squad, Sinestro Corps, and Green Lanterns. Let's see if there's anybody else on my list that I missed. I think that's going to be it. It's a very solid list. I'm sorry if I missed any of them, but they're just too many to name. But all in all, I think that's a very good interpretation of all the different women that they have in DC right now. There is not a shortage of women. There's just a shortage of characters that you don't know about because you don't like comics. And I'm not talking to normal people. I'm talking to the people that see a problem in comics. There's not a problem with comics. There's a problem with you. These women are very strong, very powerful, and they've been in comics for a long time. They don't need your help. They can defend themselves all on their own. That's why I want to do this video. I want to let people know about my favorite women characters, since everybody seems to think that I don't like women in comics. That's the exact opposite. I can name one more that I missed off the list, Big Barda. She's a very cool character. So there you go. There's lots of characters that can be named, and there's always been lots of women characters in comics. That's why I want to point this out. But tell me what you think about the video. Tell me what you think about my list. Hit the like button, hit the notifications button so you don't miss any of my videos, and have a great day, guys. Underground Geek out.